As Weber tells us, bureaucracies make it possible to conduct the affairs of an organization according to calculable rules. In this sense, bureaucracies, all bureaucracies, regardless of what society they're found in, are rational. They're characterized by functional specialization, clear lines of hierarchical authority, expert training of managers, and decision-making based on rules and tactics developed to guarantee consent and the effective and efficient pursuit of organizational goals. Weber also points out that to be rational is to be dominated by institutional rules, the rules of efficiency, predictability, calculability, and control. Institutional rules, he says, are used by office holders to dictate how they should behave. There is really only one right way of doing things. The choice of how to achieve some goal is never left up to the individual. But Weber also tells us, and he discovered, that different types of societies are characterized by different rationalities. It's only in Western society that bureaucracies are characterized by what Weber called formal rationality. And it's here that American sociologist George Ritzer picks up on what Weber has done and develops his own analysis of the formal rationality that underlines Western societies. In Western societies, to be efficient means to reach a certain end with the least amount of cost and effort possible. And Weber points to fast food restaurants as an example of this, as the defining example. He argues that we see the same principle of efficiency not just in fast food restaurants, but in all aspects of our daily lives, whether it's dealing with bank machines, with self-service gas stations, self-service grocery checkouts, quick access to information on the internet, and the like. Basically, what Weber says is efficiency has been moved in Western bureaucracies to such a point that the people who are being served, the clients, the patrons, are actually doing all the work and are being forced to learn new technologies. At the same time, they're paying for this and, of course, increasing the profit margins of the business. The second point is predictability, which refers to the fact that consumers can expect the food and the atmosphere in any McDonald's restaurant, which is what Ritzer is using as his example, to be the same no matter where they are. A McDonald's in Sydney, Australia should be exactly like a McDonald's in Toronto. The food should taste exactly the same way. Consumers have come to count on this. In the same thing, a Hudson's Bay store in Halifax, Nova Scotia should be pretty much the same as a Hudson's Bay store in Vancouver, British Columbia. Ritzer argues that we live our lives depending on predictability and structure. When we go to the grocery store, we expect to find milk. When we go to the mall, we expect to find the same kinds of stores with the same kinds of products and services, whether we're in Lethbridge, Alberta, or Regina, Saskatchewan. We have gotten used to the formulas in and out of TV shows and movies so that we always expect a certain outcome. When we watch sequels to a movie, we expect the same hero and the same general outcome. It's permeating everywhere in our lives. A third characteristic of bureaucracies is calculability. Calculability means things that can be counted on or quantified. So in Ritzer's example of McDonaldization, a fast food restaurant has everything sold by weight, every task timed down to the second. And Ritzer says that our lives are very much similarly quantified. We usually conduct our lives through very stringent schedules. Our marketability and value is more a matter of how many degrees a person has, how many letters you have behind your name, how much money you have, all quantifiable. As Ritzer points out, the greatest source of uncertainty and unpredictability in a formally rationalized system are actually the people, either the people who work within those systems or the people who are being served by them. So control is achieved through replacing humans with non-human technology. Technology allows the least amount of human error and the greatest amount of predictability. Consequently, human skills are diminishing as technology begins to replace the need to physically carry out tasks beyond pushing a button or running something through a scanner, for example. In 1903, Morgan Spurlock, who's an American documentary filmmaker, decided to see what would happen to himself if he ate 3 square meals a day at McDonald's restaurant just for a month. He was concerned about the rising rates of obesity in America, and he wanted to do something about it. Take a look at Spurlock's film, Supersize Me. I've provided the link for you. It really gives you a good idea of the irrationality of rationalization that we're all facing in contemporary Western societies and in participating in the kinds of bureaucratic structures that we are all forced to participate in as members of a contemporary Western society.